Well, we're talking a lot about kids returning to school in some districts following winter break, but with the late December spike in pediatric COVID cases, school districts nationwide are changing up their safety protocols. Joining us this morning is Dr. Matthew Davis, pediatrics chair at Lurie Children's Hospital. Good morning to you. The cases that we're seeing among kids, obviously it's concerning among parents, but are they mostly mild symptoms?
Good morning, Adrienne. Yes, what we're seeing here in Chicago is that most kids with Omicron COVID are having milder symptoms than, for example, what we saw with the Delta variant. Although we are seeing more children in sheer numbers admitted to the hospital with COVID-19 right now, we have a smaller proportion who are admitted to the intensive care unit because of their symptoms.
Right, so we're not seeing children being put on ventilators at an increased rate. We're seeing more children contract. Talk about some of these mild symptoms. Is it sniffly nose, coughing?
Exactly right. Cough, congestion, runny nose, fatigue. Some kids have body aches as well. These are symptoms that are like what we saw with the earlier variants of COVID, although it seems that with Omicron, fewer people are losing their sense of taste or smell.
And then are they having those symptoms for what, a day or two, 5 days?
We are typically seeing symptoms in that 3 to 5 day window as the ones where we know it's easiest to transmit Omicron to others. But really, we can see symptoms for up to 10 days, like with other variants of this illness.
So more kids are getting contracting this Omicron variant, as we've seen more adults are contracting the Omicron variant, but schools obviously having to respond, even though it's not the same dire prognosis as it would have been if this was the Delta variant sweeping through the schools. Weekly testing is being put in place at some campuses. Is this going to be helpful for schools to stop the spread of Omicron?
Adrienne, we know that schools that have put in place regular, for example, weekly testing that is designed to identify kids who are without symptoms but still have COVID and help them stay out of school for a few days to prevent the spread to others. We know that those schools can see a reduced spread of COVID in their classrooms.
Okay.
That said, in order to have effective routine testing, you need resources for the schools to conduct the testing, and you need supportive parents to help get the testing done.
Right, yeah, because those tests have to come from somewhere, and so far there's a shortage. So many places, parents are not able to get a test. Schools, I don't know what their situation is yet until the government gets involved. You know, masking has been a controversial topic, not just for kids, but just as a part of, you know, the conversation of how can we prevent people from getting sick? How effective is it to wear a mask, especially in close proximity to one another? So will masks really protect children if there are already sickened children or children who have tested positive for COVID inside the classroom?
Adrienne, that's a very common question. And fortunately, what we know is that masks do help prevent the spread of COVID in indoor spaces like classrooms. They're only one part of a multi-part strategy. We need to have effective hand washing, physical distancing. We need to vaccinate as many eligible children and adults in those school communities as we can. And we need to emphasize we have to help children who have symptoms of COVID stay out of the classroom until they're feeling better. As part of that multi-part strategy, masking is important, but it's not the only thing that we need to do in order to help keep schools be the safest that they can.
Well, what kind of masks should parents be investing in? Because a lot of kids wear the cloth masks, and we hear different debates about whether or not those are even effective or if Omicron particles can actually get through that cloth. Do you have any opinion on this, medical data on this?
This is a common question I get from families who I take care of here in Chicago. My bottom line is have a mask, and optimally have that mask have multiple barriers as part of it to help prevent the spread of COVID. We know that cloth mask probably is the least effective, but it's still somewhat protective. The best options are something that is more of a medical grade type of surgical mask. It's possible that N95s worn by children, although they may not be as comfortable as a surgical mask, may offer some additional protection. It's important that the mask be comfortable because kids who are wearing comfortable masks are more likely to wear those masks consistently.
And that's the practical side of all of this. You know, you want to have your child actually not want to rip the mask off their face every 5 seconds. Thank you so much, Dr. Davis. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.